Waterfront living in South Florida is a true luxury, but it can also be a burden for homeowners who have a seawall.
Whether along the coast or a canal, age and climate change contribute to eroding seawalls, and seawall maintenance can be costly. That's something a growing number of property owners are learning.
Next, weather meteorologist Dave Warren reports from Hillsborough Beach and Boynton Beach.
Seawall pandemic. A lot of the seawalls that exist today are 30 to 60 years old. The typical seawall was designed to last up to about 50 years.
That's the reality for many residents along South Florida's waterways.
It was a nightmare.
John Carlson's nightmare began when his seawall needed to be upgraded.
I got cited because the water came over my bank and went into the roadway, but they made me do the seawall anyway.
It started as a minor fix, but he soon realized it would be much more.
Unfortunately, when the seawall was constructed, some errors were made.
Those errors cost him. It's a lot more money, but looking back, he says it's worth it.
You're better off paying too much and get it done right than too little and lose the whole thing.
His story is one that will likely play out many times for anyone who lives on the coast or along canals. That's because seawalls built to protect property are either past their lifespan or in jeopardy of failing.
The only thing they can do is start patching this and just start saving up and getting ready to do the big project.
The big job is what Max Weinberg did when he bought this property.
This is the thing I do when you don't see me slightly out of focus behind Bruce Springsteen.
This famous drummer bought the property and immediately looked at the seawall.
I said, this is a beautiful new cap. How do you explain all the destruction underneath here where the water's going in?
He's investing in a new hybrid wall instead of repairing the old one.
The hybrid seawall process is going to be somewhere between $1,300 to $1,700 a linear foot. Cost comparative to alternatives, it's usually going to be 5 to 10% more. However, the longevity of having that vinyl protection on that concrete structure is the investment that you can't really replace.
Well, the good news may not be the price, but it's the lifespan of these new walls. Landolph Rode Barbarigos is an associate engineer at the University of Miami.
We can expand that lifespan. Importantly, even double it to a certain extent.
One thing that can shorten the lifespan of a wall is when modifications are done.
The next homeowner came in, decided to do a beautiful renovation or add a new home, and added this huge retaining wall, which just stacked the amount of pressure on those panels.
And that leads to costly problems.
Now, when you start to get these horizontal cracks like this, there's not really a repair because the wall is structurally compromised.
It's a big decision to replace a seawall, but hopefully with new materials and codes, it's one they will only have to make once. Many seawalls here in South Florida, from rock to concrete to hybrid to even steel, they all have one thing in common. They only last so long, and little fixes to extend the life may not work as they all come to their end of life. You may end up having to do a brand new seawall like we're standing on here. It's a question that a lot of homeowners are about to ask themselves as original seawalls come to their end of life. In Hillsborough Beach, I'm Dave Warren for CBS News Miami.